put my, I'm just going to mute you, Martin. Hi everybody, it's me again. We're 2/3 of the way through session 2, so we're essentially onto the third major module, module 4 officially. On the screen you can see on the left hand side my screen as the facilitator, and on the right hand side this is what the participant can see right there. I'm going to every now and again pop my screen on and off, but seeing as I've got two screens here, it's much easier if I just pop it off there. Alrighty, we are now looking at, we've covered critical thinking, application, teamwork, and now, from my perspective, the most important one, which is service as a solution. Understanding your offer in terms of the customer business needs it addresses. Why is that so important? Well, we're going to look at that pretty much up next. Why is this so important now? We're going to look at consultative behavior, some of the challenges associated with that, and translating your offer. This module is absolutely key from a thinking perspective for what you're going to cover in the face-to-face training that's coming up around discovery. If you get this module and you get where the differential in the thinking behind the old ways and the new ways, this is going to make what you cover in the face-to-face so much more powerful. So let's look at this first agenda area. Why is it so important now? Alright, we've been working with NetApp for 9 years, and we've been working with the IT industry for about probably about 18 years. And we've noticed, as you would, there's been some changes, and those changes have become more and more rapid recently. We started talking about the need to have different customer interactions 9 years ago, and since then it's now become absolutely critical. Why is it so critical? Well, there is a new environment. The cloud has come about, and while a lot of people ignored it at the beginning, you can't ignore it anymore. We've got cloud, we've got hybrid cloud. It has changed the face of what customers are looking for. You know, they're looking for everything as a service. They're looking for different financial models, pay as you go. It really has changed a lot. What you will, for many of you, you'll notice is you've got new customers. No longer are people just engaging with the storage manager, or the IT manager, or the infrastructure manager. And if you are, then when we talk about new competitors, you've got to be really careful, because there's going to be people who are going to eat your lunch when you talk to the old customer. The new customers, the architects, the CIOs, depending on the size of the organization, different people are interested in what you can do for their business, not just what you can do for them. So new customers with new needs. No longer is it just about the application that will work best for them, the box that will work best for them, the cheapest box. It's now, what can we do to add value to our business? New offerings. Organizations around the world are realizing that they have to create new offerings. NetApp is one of those organizations that has purchased other organizations so they can offer new offerings that are cloud and hybrid cloud. And so that's going to change the conversation you're having as well. And then finally, new competitors. There are new competitors on the market. I won't mention their names, but we all know who they are. And for a lot of them, they're playing in this space, but they are playing around the space of doing it cheaper, faster, new and shiny products. And if you are not the cheapest on the market, playing in that space and talking to the old customer about new, shiny and wonderful products, it means you're in direct competition with these organizations. It all comes down to different customer interactions, having different conversations with those customers about different things. And that's essentially what we're talking about today. To have those conversations, to have those business-based conversations, you need to look at what you offer in terms of business solutions, not just technical solutions. So can I just have a tick if that resonates with you, if what we've just talked about there you recognize as basically being truth? If I could just have a tick, that'd be great before we move on. Yeah. Okay, so everybody's ticked, and that's great. And seriously, if there was a cross, then I would have a discussion with someone, because this is absolutely key. If now most people would tick. 3 years ago, I'd say 50-50. 5 years ago, we would probably have an argument that lots of people are really looking for new shiny products. So this module looks at how to view what you offer to have more consultative, value-based customer interactions. It also lays the foundations for the experiential work you will be doing in the face-to-face training coming up next. Let's start off then, as we said, with service as a business solution, and we're talking about consultative behavior here. So what is consultative behavior? Well, it's a lot to do with listening. It's less talking, more listening. And what are you listening for? You're listening for the customer needs, so that you can link to the NetApp solutions. Now, this does not necessarily come naturally to everyone. For maybe 50% of the people that we deal with, they just can't help going into a presentation about 20 best things in regards to ONTAP or what have you. They lead with telling rather than lead with questioning and listening, and that is not consultative behavior, and that can be just a habit that's been created over years, or it could be down to your thinking preferences, but it certainly doesn't come naturally. And when you get into the face-to-face experiential pieces and you do some of the business simulations, and you try some of the questioning out, you'll find out how good or how comfortable you are with listening and asking good questions rather than telling. So what are we listening for? Well, we're listening for customer needs. What does a customer need? And before we move on, let's define what we mean by need. So a need, from our perspective, a need is when a customer has challenges or outcomes they want to achieve. So challenges they want to address or outcomes they want to achieve. And as you can see, this is quite a blue-yellow way of looking at the world. Yes, the situational information is important, and yes, the people are important, but at the end of the day, what you are trying to do is either provide a solution, a value solution that addresses their challenges or helps them to achieve their outcomes. Any other information is just information. So when you get into your session, your face-to-face session, and you're running through questioning, you're really, to add value, you're really listening out for customer challenges and outcomes. And this doesn't come naturally to everyone. You will find it does come naturally, a little bit more naturally to the blues and yellows, but you will definitely find that it whether it be habit or preferences, it doesn't come naturally to everyone. So let's step it up a little bit and say, okay, so we're talking about recognizing customer needs. Well, what if we're talking to a CIO? What if we're talking to an IT director? We're listening for business needs. So we're talking about business challenges. We're talking about business outcomes. Okay, so let's say you're comfortable listening for technical. Just go back. Let's say you're comfortable listening for technical challenges and technical outcomes. How comfortable are you at listening and matching business challenges and business outcomes? See, the thing is, to do this requires you to have some understanding of the business needs your solution addresses and the customer's business. And if that's not something that you spent a lot of time doing, then it can be a rather large step up for you. Okay, so the question is, how well can you link different customers' business needs to the solutions you offer? Now, we're going to run an exercise, and before we run this exercise, I have a little note for you. So we're going to generalize interests by role. Now, there will be an overlap of interests between roles because we are generalizing different people's roles. And the interest will invariably depend on the individual preferences. So there are going to be people out there who are infrastructure managers who are interested in a return on investment to the business. Sure. So we are generalizing. However, it's going to be a really useful exercise for us to do just to get you in the headspace of the different types of roles that you talk to and the different conversations you're going to have. At the end of the day, it is really important to understand the individual stakeholders' interests and their drivers. So again, I say we're generalizing at the moment, but you want to take it down to a deeper level to understand that individual. So you also need to understand areas very important right now, such as understanding the business. So the way that they have their workflows working, and various other parts of their business. These are things you're also going to need to know. So based on that, and with that in mind, let's go into the actual exercise. Okay, on your screen, what you see is medium organizations and large organizations. And within each one of those organizations, they have a variety of role. But depending on the size of the organization will invariably depend, in many cases, of the sort of role that you engage with. For instance, the larger organizations, it's unlikely for most people that you're going to be engaging with the CIO for a multi-billion-dollar organization, multiple million-dollar organization. However, on the sort of medium-sized organizations, so we're talking about sort of 1.5 million up, sorry, 0.5 million up, 0.5 million or 0.5 billion? Might be 0.5 billion actually, up. You're going to have access, the probability, more probability, you're going to have access to more senior levels. So if we kind of break it down like that, and in fact, maybe I can just check in with you. Does that make sense? That do you generally, in the larger organizations, deal with people who are farther down the pecking order, and the smaller, the medium-sized organizations, people who are, higher up that food chain? Can I just see a tick if that makes sense? Okay, that's great. All right, so look, just taking that concept, let's look at the roles associated with the sort of roles associated with the people that you're going to be meeting. So if we start off with the storage manager, down here at the bottom. Storage manager, they're your more traditional customer for somewhere like NetApp and storage organizations. And from a perspective of a storage manager, what we're going to be looking at is the general outcomes of interest to that role, what they want to do. You then have system architects, and we're going to investigate with system architects what's of interest to them. Then we start moving up the food chain in the pecking order to the IT director. And at the top here we have the CIO. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be asking you for your ideas of what is of most interest to these four roles. And we're going to be working in audio breakout groups to do this. So we're going to look at how you can translate your offer, and that, I have to say, I'm afraid that is a header that is going to need to be changed. You will enter, so basically just to exercise, you'll enter a breakout session in smaller allocated groups. The computer or WebEx randomly allocates you into groups. The objective of the exercise is to list outcomes of interest to the roles that are allocated to you. What would they say? What would they say is of interest to them, what sort of outcomes are they looking at achieving, any challenges they would typically want to address. Let's just keep it simple and just think about what would they say they want to achieve. Pick a representative to capture the topics. You're going to have 3 minutes to discuss this. You'll have a whiteboard that if you want you can play with in your rooms, and be prepared to share with the entire class at the end. So I'm going to start the breakout session. I need to do this. I need to go to the top of the screen, breakout. And to do this, I've got two choices. I can open up the breakout session panel, or I can just start the breakout sessions. I'm going to open up this panel because I want to have a bit of control over it. And as you can see now, we have the various breakout sessions. We've got 3 people in this group, and we've got 3 breakout sessions. When you run the training, you'll have 4 breakout sessions and multiple people in each room. Alright, so once again, I'm going to allocate to you which roles you're going to be focusing on, and then discuss what outcomes they're looking at achieving. So who's in what breakout session? Ursula and her team are in breakout session 1. Martin and your team are 2, and Sue and your team are in 3. So let's go to the slide. Alright, so Sue, your team are going to be focused on the storage manager. Martin, your team, the system architect. Ursula, the IT director, and if we had a 4th group, they would get the CIO. Alrighty, are you ready? Let's go. You're going to need to click on OK once I put you into your room, so you can get into your rooms. Then you have 3 minutes. You'll have 30 seconds warning before it finishes. I'll pass over to you now. So we can see on Sue's screen there. Let's just zoom in. She can play with a whole bunch of applications if she wants, which hopefully she doesn't. She can share a file. I'm not sure why she's sharing a file. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, she's going to open a file. Why is she opening a file? About Malayan Szechuan eggplant. Okay. So that's interesting. So we could give them a file to use, but I think that would be a bit of a pain. But I'm sure we're going to find out that they've decided, instead of talking about the outcomes associated roles, they've decided to look at eggplant. Now I believe that her Skype has frozen, so we'll just leave that for a moment. We'll end the session now. That gives them 30 seconds. It hasn't frozen. Looks like having a problem uploading her file, which is another reason we're not going to do it. They also have, probably more useful, is a whiteboard just to play with and to take notes. You can see the whiteboard up there, and so they can all interact on the whiteboard. So we're just waiting for the 30 seconds to be up, and when the 30 seconds to be up, it'll go bleep bleep and they'll all be back. And they're back. Yeah, I see you having a few problems opening up a file, Sue.
Well, I was just trying to test what I could actually do because I had those options.
Okay, so if you could just stop sharing screen in Skype and reshare your screen, that'd be great, because as usual with Skype it's had a problem for some unapparent reason with sharing your breakout room. But luckily WebEx is beautifully robust. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're back, and we have the screen in front of us, and I'm going to be saying, so Sue's group, could you give me some feedback, whoever is the representative, on the general outcomes of interest by role? What do they want to do? And I get her feedback. Martin's group, what do you think? System architect. Ursula's group, IT director, and of course the final group we don't have at the moment would be on the CIO. So there's your ideas, and here's some of our ideas. We felt that the storage manager would be show me what's new, reduce my workload. The systems architect, better enable my internal customer, keep the lights on whatever we do with the customer. IT director, better enable my internal customer, quite similar to system architect there. Keep my customer happy, free up dollars for the business. So that's more around cash flow and potentially shifting things from a CapEx to an OpEx, operational expenditure, rather than necessarily buying a whole bunch of stuff up front, going to the cloud maybe and doing a pay-per-use model. CIO, enable my business to be more competitive. So it's a much bigger picture, help the business to achieve the goals they need to achieve, and then add dollars to the top line. So this is not really about saving money anymore, it's about how the company can make money. So very, very different conversations which are going on there, and you had some great ideas as well. So what would happen if we applied this to a product, a NetApp product? And how would that relate to the conversations we have with various people? Okay, so what we've got is we've taken, as an example only, ONTAP. And ONTAP has changed its name, from my experience, at least 4 times. It's now just ONTAP. And what we're going to be asking ourselves in this exercise is similar but slightly different. What I want you to be thinking about is, for all the roles you had, what things would this person say they want that might indicate ONTAP would be a solution? So it's essentially, I want something, I want this, the storage manager would say, that would link to an ONTAP solution. System architect, I want this, what would they be saying? IT director, I want this, the CIO. And they would be things that they want that would link back to ONTAP being a solution, that would link back to ONTAP being able to provide that as an outcome, or if they wanted to address a challenge, be able to address that problem, that challenge. So can I just, that was a little bit complicated, can I just see a tick if everyone understands the purpose of the exercise you're about to do? You do. That's really good. Okay. So you're entered the breakout session, same as before in the smaller groups. One split, click agree to the breakout. We should probably have that in the previous slide. List what things this person or the role might say they want to indicate. Sorry, I'll say that again. List what things this person or role might say they want that indicate ONTAP might be a solution of interest to them. Pick a representative to capture these topics. It's a 3-minute exercise, 30 seconds prior to the end. You'll be given a reminder it's closing. Be prepared to share with the class. Okay, so same breakout groups as before. Same storage manager. Sue, you got storage manager. Martin, you got system architect. Ursula, you got IT director, and the other group would have a CIO. Okay, I'm going to start it, and let's see if you can get your things working. I'll just do this for no more than a minute. So off I go. Let me get this little, missed it. Okay, Sue's going to still try to share a file. Don't pick the same one, pick something small. Oh no, she's picked exactly the same one. Has she? Oh no, this is Szechuan eggplant. Now, seems to be getting stuck. They're not supposed to do this anyway. I don't know why she's doing it, but maybe just to show us that it can be done, or not, as the case may be. I'm going to close this. I'm going to end it. They're going to get their little breakout session. Will end automatically in 30 seconds. She's still trying to get a Szechuan eggplant up. Don't know why. Obviously a problem with that file. And hopefully they'll just use the whiteboard, which is really, really easy. So there we go. And they're back online. So could you just refresh, switch off and switch back on your screen sharing? That would be great. Okay, that's fantastic. All right, so now what we're going to do is, Sue, could you give feedback on your ideas, Martin, your group's ideas, Ursula, and the other people? Oh, those were really great ideas, weren't they? Okay, what did we come up with? Storage manager, do my job more effectively, reduce personal workload, do more with less, improve availability of data and application resilience for the system architect, ensure the business runs, whatever we do, test. So basically, whatever you do behind the scenes, everything keeps chugging along quite nicely for the customer. Make what we design work better. Reduce costs for the IT director. Change my consumption model. Free up CapEx for my business. Allow customer to achieve results faster. Avoid customer complaints. CIO. Make us more agile, more flexible. More flexibility to the customers. Make IT an enabler for the customer's business. Give me a platform that drives innovation. Leverage the benefits of hybrid cloud in the business. So all these things they might say, and all these things ONTAP can provide them. So the real point here is it's a lot about intelligent listening here, intelligent listening. And we can do this for multiple solutions that are on offer to customers of NetApp. Basically, the challenge here for most people is just reading up some of those case studies and getting an indication of what the business outcomes and the business challenges are that you deal with, or that you can provide, I should say. So, in summary, this is what we would suggest with regards to seeing your business, or your service, I should say, as a business solution. Know the business needs you address for the roles you engage with. So know the business needs, not just the needs, but know the business needs you do address, your solutions address, in relation to the roles of the people you engage with. So when you have conversations with those customers, you can ask about the outcomes they seek and the challenges they wish to address. Then you can listen for what they connect. Excuse me, I can't read, it's quite correct up there. Listen for when they connect to the business outcomes you provide. Once you've done that, then you can explain how you can meet their needs. But the first piece is, in a consultant's job, an elite consultant's job, is to listen to the customer needs, to think intelligently after you've asked good questions, what links to the NetApp solutions, and then only after you've done that, then you open your mouth and give them some of those solutions. So, session summary in total, we've looked at 3 modules. Critical thinking, big takeaway from that is personally create better customer outcomes through your own whole brain thinking. So when you're alone, using that whole brain thinking model to think from all quadrants. Teamwork, you're expanding out to a team, so helping the team to achieve those outcomes. Encourage the teams to expand their planning and doing into various other areas to cover yourself and the team and get better results using whole brain models. And then finally, service as a business solution. Try and connect the customer needs to the solutions you offer through intelligent listening. And we're going to be looking at this final module in a lot more detail because this lays the foundation, as I said at the beginning, to the work that you're going to be doing in the classroom around questioning. If you can get this concept, you can become a better listener, but also a much better and more effective and valuable partner to your customers. So where do we go from here? Prior to attending the classroom training coming up, complete the e-learning on discovery. So is there anyone who hasn't so far done the e-learning on discovery? Can I just see A show of hands, please. Okay, great. Everyone's going to put... Oh, Sue, you haven't? Okay, well, short period of time, but you'll have a link that was sent to you. Jump on the link. It shouldn't take more than 20 minutes. And have a look at that, because that's going to give you some foundation information, some very, very useful foundation information for when you do your business simulations and role plays and things like that tomorrow. So have a good look at that. 2, you're going to need to, talking about business simulations, you're going to need to think of a business-orientated stakeholder that you could meet with the intention of uncovering needs. So we sent you a thing called a stakeholder analysis sheet for that stakeholder. It's a PDF. Complete that, print it off, and bring it in. So I hope that has been, if nothing else, a thought starter. I would like to say that in the workbook you're going to have most of the pages that we've covered today for your reference, so you can use them afterwards. And whatever you're going to do for the rest of your day, have a good one.